My name is Ruth Beddoes and I'm the Managing Director of Global Capital and Euromoney Conferences. I'm here today with Didier from the Commission to discuss the Commission's efforts around the Covered Bond Directive. Welcome.
Good morning, Ruth.
What was the reasoning behind building the EU framework for covered bonds, and does the Commission consider that its original objectives were achieved?
There was some very well-functioning markets on covered bonds in the EU, like in Germany or in Denmark, for instance, but they were only working there. So we had this idea that we would have the possibility to expand these good practices and these successes to many member states, basically throughout the EU. And this is what we wanted to do. And I think I'm very pleased today to see that we have actually managed to do that. And we have now legislation available for all the 27 or 28 member states on covered bonds. And we are very much looking forward to the moment where this legislation will be transposed by the member states. And in terms of objectives, I think that we have achieved our two objectives, which was first, again, to make sure that there would be a common definition of covered bonds in the EU, but also that the prudential framework, which is there to make it even more attractive for investors, also is adapted and let's say, improved so that there is no risk in investing in covered bonds, and it is attractive as an investment possibility for different actors.
And so a principle-based approach was chosen to address national specificities. Will it be enough to limit potential market fragmentation?
I think one has to remember that this is the first time that we are trying to harmonize covered bonds in the EU. So it's always a challenge to have 28 member states agree on a common concept. And again, I'm very pleased that we actually managed to do that. And all the different elements which we had identified as key for the definition of a proper regulation for covered bonds, we have actually managed to have them approved. And I think that is a very good success. Of course, during the discussion, we had to discuss how national specificities, well-functioning markets could be preserved. We had long discussions on how to find the best solution for addressing these concerns, but I think at the end of the day, we managed to do it. And we managed to do it in a way, again, which is preserving the, let's say, quality of the initiative. So we are very pleased from this perspective as well.
Excellent. And third country equivalence regime from the industry perspective is a crucial step for securing a benchmark role at global level. What's next on that topic?
The member states have discussed, and the Parliament, of course, the possibility to include in the text a so-called equivalence regime. An equivalence regime would have given to EU investors the same advantage when investing in third country covered bonds compared to the advantage they get when investing in European ones. It's an interesting concept, but it was not the priority of the Commission, and it was recognized as well by the co-legislators that it was not the priority for them. For us, the priority was to first develop non-existing yet EU markets and see how basically the new regime, this new definition I was talking about, this new prudential regime also works in practice, whether it does the trick. And once we have, let's say, confirmation that we got it right, we will be able then to expand, let's say, the regime to third country covered bonds. So this is not about putting a closed regime in place, but we had a priority. The priority was the single market, the capital market union, and at some point, actually within 2 years of the date of application of the directive, we will have a review of the Commission on whether such an equivalence framework should be put in place or not.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.